Hi, this is Greg Study on Soccer. I'm here with Guerrero Pino. Thank you so much for squeezing me in today, Guerrero. It's so good to see you.
Oh, thank you, Greg. Thanks for the invitation. Pleasure to be here.
Let me do a quick little advertisement and we'll get started. Thanks again. Study on Soccer is sponsored by Auden Technologies. Auden Technologies will take care of everything for you, from your security cameras to your alarm systems, all the way to your servers and networks. Auden Technologies operates primarily out of the Midwest and the Northeast. We want to thank them very much for their sponsorship. And let's bring back Guerrero, because that's who you want to talk to. Thank you very much again, Guerrero. You guys are doing pretty well this season in Kansas City.
Yeah, so far I think we have a good season so far, but we still a lot of room to improve. So that's what we're looking forward for.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the things that I first want to say is I personally, I know that I'm not alone. I personally miss you here in San Diego, my friend. I really miss not having you on the field here. But I know that you started your MASL career in Kansas City. So let's do that. Let's talk a little bit about how it all got started, what turned you on to MASL soccer, and how you landed in Kansas City in the first place.
Yeah, no, I came to Kansas City back in 2010. I was training with Sporting KC, but I was an international player and stuff like that. So I decided to look into the college soccer, and I got a couple offers in different schools. I ended up going to UMKC, University of Missouri Kansas City, a Division I NCAA school. And while I was in college during the off seasons, I will play with some friends on a team here in Kansas City, a local team in different tournaments. And on that team, I mean, Robert Palmer, Ramon Palmer, John Sosa, Brian Perez, a lot of the players that are in the league, that were in the league, were playing with us. And right after I graduated from college, it was in 2016. That's when here in Kansas City, we do something that is called kick rounds. But they start super early. Like, let's say the preseason starts mid-October. Kick rounds here with the Comets players, they start at probably first week of August, right? And then they go from 2 days a week to then 3 days a week, and then every day. And that's how I started. I basically started on the kick rounds. Then at the time, it was Coach Goran, and the assistant coach was Vahid Asapur. They gave me a chance. They signed me on my first year, and I ended up having a good year in my rookie year. I played in the midfielder. Well, I started playing as a defender, but then moved to the midfielder. In my opinion, I think it was a good year. I ended up on the rookie team of the year. A few goals and here and there with assists. And then the second year with the Comets was kind of rough. There was a little bit of an issue with the ownership. We lost a lot of players. That's when Sosa went to San Diego, Palmer's, and another player went to Tacoma, and then some of the players retired. So it was a really rough season and with the Comets my second year. And after that second year, I think it was mid-September. Yeah, mid-September, late September, when I got a call from it was at that time was Kim Ron-Ventet, the head coach of the Comets.
Right.
And literally what he said was like, "Hey, Pino, I'm so sorry. It was a business deal, but you're going to San Diego." So it was three team trade or something like that. Right. And that's how I ended up in San Diego, At first was a little bit unsure because I didn't know anything about, one, the team, two, the city, obviously. But I decided to take the risk, and I went there. I loved it, and it was a great 6 years,
Yes. So talk a little bit about that. There's a lot of interest, I think, when players in every sport, when players are moving from one city to the next, there's two different attitudes that I think from the fan base typically is, maybe three different attitudes. One is, was the player poached by the team they went to? Did the team that they were originally on sell them out without any communication with the player, or did the player ask to be moved? Which in your experience, which is it? Were you not aware that you were going to?
At that time, before my second year for the Comets, when all the ownership issues were happening, we were all free agents, and I did get approached by different teams. I get approached at that time by Milwaukee, I think it was El Paso, Texas at that time, and I don't remember, but it was at least two more. San Diego came, I think was after my second year. San Diego came. Rene Ortiz called me, and we kind of talked a little bit,
Right.
but no, I mean my status at the time with the Comets and I was working here. I had my apartment and everything.
Right.
So I did not think about it. I didn't think about moving or anything like that. So they actually did not approach me, but it was kind of like a friendly conversation.
Okay.
But then, to be honest, I mean, it happens without me knowing. I mean, the Comets did the trade. I did not know. I think the coach wanted to make the trade because he wanted to get Ramon Palmer, Robert Palmer, and that time Matingo back. And I think San Diego was interested in me, and that's how they did it. So basically, it was a call, and literally was a business decision. That's what I was told.
Right. Okay. So you played 6 years in San Diego. Personally, now, I mean, San Diego's defense pretty strong across the board. Talk a little bit about your time here in San Diego.
Yeah, I know it was great since day one. It was great. I mean, I think the treatment that players get in San Diego is great. Phil, Sean, Rene, Chicky, all of them, they do a great job along with their front office to make the players feel welcome. And then on top of that, I mean, we're taken care of, you know. I think every player in San Diego knows that if they need something, they can go to the front office, they can go to the ownership, and they'll provide for you. I think that's a great part of the organization, and it made my life easier, to be honest. I mean, I was there my first year, and I felt like home, to be honest. It was, the players were pretty welcoming, and the coaching staff and the front office was as well. So it was a great transition to me.
Well, and you got 2 championship rings out of the deal too, didn't you?
Yes. We were lucky to win two championship. It couldn't be 3, but
right. Well,
yeah.
I mean, it's really interesting. Whether it's Monterey or Chihuahua or Sonora back in the day, the Mexican sides are pretty hard to get past. I mean, those are some pretty strong teams.
Yeah, no, they definitely are. I mean, it was what, 3. My first year, we lost to Monterey in the semis on an overtime. Right. That's when they lost to Milwaukee. I think we had a great opportunity that year to win it as well, because we were gonna close at home. And then we won 2 back. I mean, we won back to back. And I mean, I think the third time, which was the second time that we played Chihuahua, I think we were the better team. In my opinion, we were the better team. We controlled the whole game. We just couldn't capitalize on the mini game or overtime, and they got a great goal out of Poper Hernandez, and that's how game goes, you know. But if you ask me, I think we were the better team. We dominated the whole game. It was just, I don't know, we got tired legs or something like that, and we couldn't finish, and they ended up scoring. I mean, credit to Chihuahua on that, but that's what it was, you know.
Yeah. I mean, the from my perspective, and I don't know anything about what Cheeky and Sean are doing as far as bringing in certain players and but from what I saw, it looked to me like the San Diego Sockers team at that point in time was specifically put together. The skill set of the players and the way where the players came from and what their how they work together was actually designed for competition against Chihuahua or Monterey. I mean, it was like they were looking at those teams as the teams they had to match up with. I
don't know if I was the thought behind it, but they did a pretty good job forming a team. I mean, I think it took the organization at least 2 years to actually like to bring a group that was established together. I mean, the 2 years that we won back to back, we were dominating. The third year when we lost with Chihuahua on that semis, we were dominated the year. I mean, dominated the year. We dominated the series, especially in San Diego. But again, it was just that moment we couldn't capitalize. But yeah, I mean, Sean, Chicky, Phil, they do a great job. I mean, they actually watch a lot of film on other players that they have interested on, and I remember Chicky saying sometimes, I mean, he looks at the player talent and all of that, but he looks for a player that will fit the San Diego
right.
the San Diego characteristic, the San Diego style. And I mean, if you see the roster right now, I mean, every player in San Diego is really talented. I mean, it's talented and great on the ball. And that's part of the San Diego organization as well. I mean, they want players in that caliber, and they want players that will fit their needs,
Well, and the team chemistry goes a long way. I mean, on any sport and any team, the team chemistry goes a long way. And when you have players that stay together for a while, then you're gonna learn that. You're gonna learn each other's techniques and style and the way it works out. And I think that the teams that are successful are typically ones that have that kind of chemistry.
Yeah, the locker room was great. To be honest, the locker room was great. I think we all knew that it was about the team. It was about the organization. It didn't matter. We didn't care about who scored, who didn't. It was just at the end of the day, get the W and then 3 points. At that time, I remember a lot of games during those 3 years where we were like struggling to perform the way we wanted to perform. But we always pull it off, the team always pull it off, and that helped a lot. Winning games and having a great locker room, and the coaching doing their job, and the fans bringing together doing games, that was a good stuff. So everything added up at that time, especially on the back-to-back, and then the third year, I mean, when we came out short, but we had a great year as well.
Well, let's talk a little bit about this season. So you're back in Kansas City. First off, let's talk about how that happened. What was the process of you getting back to Kansas City?
Well, a lot of fans don't know this, but my first year when I went to San Diego, I moved to San Diego for 6 months. Then after that, the next 5 years, I was what is called, I mean, they call it in the league, a traveling player. So basically, because I have my house here, I have my business here in Kansas City. So I was like going back and forth. I mean, I will go to practices sometimes. Yeah, a lot of fans didn't know that. Like, I was not a full-time with San Diego. I was not at every practice. I was there at every game. But a lot of the times for the games, I will arrive to San Diego the day before, go to practice, and then go to the game the next day. And then the day after, I had to come back to Kansas City because my house, my business, and everything was here. So those 6 years, my house and everything was here in Kansas City, So so that's how it started. And my last year, because I signed for 5 years with San Diego, and then I did another year with them, which my year 6, I signed for 1 year. And then obviously on the back of my head, I was already thinking like, I mean, there's going to be a time where I have to come back, and whether it was going to be with the Comets or whether it's going to be just retire and then focus on my business, focus on my life, But Coach Stefan and I were friends. We were pretty close in that aspect. We know each other. We played together with the Comets. When he took over the team, and then I didn't talk to him at all, but I heard good things about him, stuff like that. And obviously, I mean, I had to sit down after the season with Chicky and Phil and Sean. And at that time, they did want me to go back to San Diego for at least another year. But I mean, obviously, I told them I didn't know yet, just because I had to sit down with my family, in that case, my girlfriend and stuff like that. Kind of like, hey, this is a situation with my business moving forward, and what's going to be best for me, because at the end of the day, I'm 34. The back and forth traveling takes a lot of toll on your body, and it's hard to do. I did it for 5 years, and obviously it took a toll on my body. It took a toll mentally, emotionally. Obviously, the city is great. The team was great. The organization was great. but I think I decided it was time. I decided it was time to come back. It was time to kind of like be more stable, uh, enjoy my house, enjoy my business here, play for the
Right.
kids that I work with here, and that was the thought behind it. To be honest, I mean, it was my decision. Phil kind of knew and sensed that was going to happen, but he did offer another year, Chicky as well.
Right.
Um, but I made that decision, and obviously it was a hard decision to make, just because I love the team, I love the organization. Um, we love the city as well, especially my girlfriend. But it was about time. The weather, you cannot beat the weather in San Diego, but it was about time. So that's why. And I was really excited. I was really excited to come back, play for Coach Stefan, and Kansas City had a great year as well.
That's right.
So it wasn't like, oh my God, I'm going to a team that is going to struggle the whole year. I came to a
Right.
team that is going to fight for a championship.
Absolutely. And I mean, excuse me, having just been in the Ron Newman Cup Finals last season, so you're, as you say, you're coming to a team that's already at the top of their game. They've got players that have that chemistry that we were talking about a few minutes ago. I
Yep.
mean, Vandergrift and Reggett and a lot of these guys that are now your teammates have put together a solid team. Um, it's really interesting if you look at the standings, how close. It's really interesting how close San Diego and Kansas City are. There's only 1 point separating them on the ladder. Um, they both teams have the same number of games played and the same number of goals allowed, which is and only one goal difference in goals scored.
Yeah.
Right now, as we speak, right now, and you're going to play San Diego coming this Friday, which is going to be an interesting match. You looking forward to that?
Yeah. I'm actually looking forward to that. It's a great game, and especially here in Kansas City, fans are pretty excited about it. And as you said, the standings show it. I mean, we're kind of there.
Yeah,
And this game, those games against Chihuahua, San Diego,
yeah,
now Baltimore, you can call it. There's always a playoff game.
yeah.
And
Right,
this is what it is. I mean, if we beat San Diego, hopefully we will do that.
right,
Um, we go ahead of them.
right,
And then if they beat us, I mean, they take more advantage of it. You know what I'm saying? So they separate themselves. I think with this playoff format and the way they set up the playoffs is pretty important to finish first and second, just
right,
because you get that day of advantage. You got that day off advantage when you go to San Diego to play playoffs there.
right. Um, yeah, that's going to be interesting. I'm not a real big fan of the. I mean, I'm going to be there. I'm going to be at the playoffs. I'm going to be watching the games live. I'm not really a big fan of the format that they've put together, but it is what it is, and we'll see how that plays out. Um, the other thing that's interesting between the Comets and the Sockers this season is you guys are the only two teams that have beaten Chihuahua, and doing it on your home field. That was a pretty solid match. You guys played against them, held them, I think, to only 2 goals.
Yeah. That was our best performance so far in the year. You know how Chihuahua plays. I mean, I personally know them a lot.
Yeah,
And those teams are hard to beat, but I think beating them at your home is a must. You got to take advantage of
absolutely.
your house. You got to take advantage of your home field advantage, just because playing in Chihuahua is not easy. I think, uh, yeah, a lot of players, a lot of fans complain about the size of the field and here and that, which is true. I mean, you cannot play the way you usually play in a bigger arena, but it
Right,
is what it is. I mean, it's already established. It's already there. They're not the only team doing that.
right,
And you got to make the best out of it. I mean, San Diego, we beat him in Chihuahua multiple times.
right, right,
Milwaukee did it as well. I mean, Monterey did it as
right,
well. So it's
right,
not that they're not beatable there, but when they come to your home field, you got to take advantage of that, and that's what we did. We took care of business that day. I think we did a great performance defensively, and that's what ended up winning the game. Keeping Chihuahua to 2 goals is not easy,
okay,
and I mean, we were able to do it. So yeah, I know the Sockers beat him as well. The game was a little closer, but I mean, it was good. I mean, San Diego Chihuahua games are always hard.
Right. Yeah, sure. I mean, it is playing versus Kansas City this season as well, and last season as well. Um, let me ask you. I saw you in San Diego here recently, when Kansas City came to San Diego. What do you think of Front Wave Arena?
Oh, love it. I love it. I was talking to Phil, and it turned out pretty good, to be honest. It's great. It's great. I was excited to play there, to be honest. I was excited to see how it was going to look. The arena looks great. The locker rooms, the stand, where the fans sit, all the suites, and all of that is great. But yeah, I mean, I'm happy for them. I'm glad they're enjoying that, and happy for the organization and the group that put it together.
Speaking of arenas, I've been to Cable Dahmer Arena a couple of times. That's a beautiful location as well. And the Kansas City Comets have a interesting way of marketing, apparently, because they bring out the fans. What's it like playing in front of a full house every game?
Oh, love it, love it, love it. To be honest, yeah, the front office does a great job. The guys on selling tickets are amazing. I mean, it's 3 to 4 guys, I think, but they do a great job. I think they targeted the right way. They go to the youth clubs. They go to those groups that will come to the game and make it fun for the kids. And then us in the field, on the field, we try to put a show. And the part that we play with fans is huge because, for example, we already have a schedule, like literally appearances every week. There has to be a player doing an appearance here. There has to be a player doing an appearance there. And at the end of the day, we're a team. Like, players have to contribute as much as the selling ticket guys and the front office, So that's what we do. And when it comes to the games, our number one priority is kind of like, okay, they came to support us. Now we got to put a show on. Now we got to make sure they go home regardless of the score. And they're like, that was a great show. That was a great battle. They fought to the end. They made sure I enjoy it as a fan. And that's what we want, because at the end of the day, I mean, I think we have played, at least 6 games at our home arena. And I think the lowest number of fans that we had was 4,000. So that tells you something,
Right.
Tells you something. So
absolutely.
So having 4,000 fans on a 5,600 seat arena, I mean, it's great. Again, credit to all the front office stuff, and again, us doing our part on the appearances play a huge role.
Well, in the community of Independence, where the Cable Dahmer Arena is located, is kind of a central hub area in that region for sports to begin with.
Yes and no, to be honest. I mean, right now with the soccer complex and everything is spread out. I mean, everything is spread out, but I would say it's central. It's central for a lot of places. So, and it's an easy access, to be honest. I mean, you get off the highway, and then within 2 minutes, you're already at the arena. So,
absolutely,
helps.
Yeah. From that standpoint, it's a great location because it's literally right off the freeway. So
yeah, and then on top of that, the distance are not the same as San Diego. So, I mean, 30 minutes here is not compared to the 45 to 50 minutes in San Diego, where you have to hit traffic and stuff like that. So also that plays a role,
Absolutely. Talking about travel, I understand that it's a little icy out there today.
Yeah. We woke up in the morning. We usually practice at 8 a.m. and I had to move the practice an hour later because some of the highways were shut down just because the black ice was kind of bad. There were a lot of accidents. Hopefully nobody got hurt, but it was a little bit of that. Yeah, we had a great weekend, to be honest. We had a weekend where we had weather with between 60s and 70s. And it's the Midwest, you wake up Monday and then now you're back to 30. And then today the ice was there. So it's kind of like that.
Well, but I mean, you never, even like you were just saying, even while you were playing for San Diego, you never actually left Kansas City. So the weather patterns throughout that location, I used to live in St. Louis, and so I'm somewhat familiar with how the weather works. I got to tell you, it was really interesting to me in the Midwest that summertime is so humid and so hot and rainy too. I mean, thunderstorms come through like crazy, but the winter, yeah, I mean, just crazy. because growing up here in Southern California, I mean, summertime was warm and dry. It wasn't hot and wet, and that was really a kind of an interesting culture shock to me.
Yeah.
But during the winter, you guys, well, like most of the country, it gets pretty dang cold, and I guess you've had some pretty major cold fronts come through recently, haven't you?
Yeah, well, our game against Milwaukee got suspended because of that. It got postponed because of that. We got that day that we're playing Milwaukee. I think we got 14 inches of snow, I will say.
Oh my goodness.
Unfortunately, the team got stuck in the middle, like probably almost getting to Kansas City. They got stuck. They had a problem with their bus, but that wasn't the reason. That was not the reason for the game to get postponed. It was just not safe for fans or players to drive to the arena. So we literally spent, because it started Saturday. It started at Saturday, like around 4 or 5 p.m. And it started with black ice, to be honest. It was like rainy, icy. I think that was the hardest part. That was the more scariest part. I was actually on the road coming home, and it took me what it was an easy 9 minutes to get home. It ended up taking me probably 45 minutes just because it was icy. You cannot get out on some of the exits. So you got to go around. And then the snow started on Saturday. I think Saturday around 8 p.m. That's when the snow started and did not stop until Sunday around 9 p.m. So we got like an easy 24 hours of snow. And yeah, we ended up getting accumulated 14 to 15 inches. On some areas, it was less. Some areas was more.
Yeah, my brother lives in Kansas City, in Kansas, and he was sending photographs of his front yard and the trees all covered up, and I mean it looked pretty crazy.
Yeah.
It looked, you were saying 14 inches, and that sounds about right to what the pictures were, because he had shoveled the sidewalk up to his front door, and it looked like it was about 14 inches deep on the side there.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's thick. That is thick. Tell me what you're looking forward to this season. You mentioned something earlier about the importance of being one of the two top teams at the end of the regular season, for the consideration of having that off time during the playoffs, when the playoffs first start.
I think that's one of the goals from the coaching staff and from the team in general. I mean, we want to finish first or second, just because that you have that day in between quarterfinals and semifinals to rest. But yeah, that's our goal. I mean, we wanna be on top of the table, just because on paper it shows that, okay, you're playing, let's say, one of the weakest team. But again, I mean, once you get to playoffs, every team is dangerous. Every team is dangerous. Playoffs is playoffs. It's a different tournament. It's a different regular season is over, and now you're in playoff mode. So that's our goal. We want to finish as high as we can to get that day of advantage. But if we don't, I mean, we're ready to battle on the back-to-back.
Well, absolutely, and it looks like it looks to me anyway, like, and probably to everybody else, that the Kansas City Comets are going to be in the playoffs, even though it's only halfway through the season at this point. You guys would have to really fall if to not make it. It looks like the teams are being separated out as far as the standings go. There's the teams at the top, there's a few teams in the middle, and there's some teams at the bottom. What is your schedule? I haven't looked at your schedule. What does it look like for the last half of the season?
I think we play, I mean, the ones that I know for sure, we play San Diego this Friday, and then we have St. Louis this Sunday after that. Not right after that, but I think it's the 16 or 15, something like that. And then we have a trip to Harrisburg back-to-back. We play 2 games in Harrisburg, and then we come home to play Utica, and then it's that weekend. I mean, I think March is going to be a tough, as you mentioned, March is going to be a tough schedule for us, because it's starting in March. Well, starting February 22nd, I think we play back-to-back in Harrisburg. we come back home, and then we play a back-to-back, one game home against Utica, and then we got to be in Milwaukee the next day, So, and then, so it's home and away. So we play home first against Utica, and then the next day we play in Milwaukee. So those games are tough. And then March, if I look at the schedule correctly, I think in March we have at least 4 back-to-back games, like back-to-back, like at least 2 games per weekend. So, that's how the schedule works for the league, and it's not gonna be easy because I actually after Utica, we play Utica at home, and then that's on a Saturday, and then Sunday, I think it's 5 p.m. we play Milwaukee in Milwaukee, okay. And then we come back on Monday, and then we have to be in Chihuahua to play Chihuahua on Friday, and then we come back Saturday and we play San Diego on Sunday. So just put it that way. Like you play Utica, Milwaukee, Chihuahua, San Diego on a back-to-back, basically.
Oh my.
So it's
man.
You never know.
So yeah, that's kind of brutal. And I tell you what, one of the things that I think a lot of fans would love to hear from you is how those back-to-back games work on you as far as the player is concerned. I mean, are those as tough as it seems?
If it is, let's say, if it is a back-to-back game at home, it doesn't feel as bad, right?
Right.
But when it is a back-to-back, like the one in Milwaukee, Utica, we play Utica at home at night, and then you gotta, unfortunately, you're not gonna fly the next morning and make it to Milwaukee, because I think that's gonna be more like waking up early, this and that. I don't know how the organization is gonna do it. I don't know if we're gonna travel overnight, but those are the tough ones because you play and then you travel the next day, and then you have to play there. Now, if that's the situation for both teams, that they're playing back to back,
right?
Why not? I mean, it's okay. But sometimes, and it happened to us when I was in the soccer last year, where we had to go to Dallas,
right,
on a Saturday, and then we flew to San Diego on a Sunday. Literally got there at probably noon. We got a couple hours, and then we're gonna play a fresh leg Chihuahua team.
Right.
So those are the tough one. I personally prefer the back-to-back. I prefer to play, let's say, on a Friday or Saturday, and then play the next day, regardless if it's traveling or not. I prefer that on top of instead of the playing Friday, rest Saturday, play Sunday.
Really?
And I don't know. It's me personally. I feel like that day in between, where my body starts getting into like, okay, I'm resting, I'm doing this and that. It's harder for me to transition to the game mode on the Sunday, right?
Gotcha.
When it's a back-to-back game, I'm already ready for it. I play that night. I'm like, okay, I have one tomorrow. I got to take care of my body and then just be ready for tomorrow. But again, every player is different. They're tough regardless, but it's up to every player.
And the playoffs are going to be scheduled back to back, but everybody's going to be in the same location and get there pretty much at the same time, have the same amount of rest. Even San Diego is good. The players are going to be in the same situation except with the exception of the fact that they're going to, sleep in their own bed at night. But having everybody coming to the same location puts everybody in the same situation.
Yeah. Well, the only difference is that 1, 2, 7, and 8 play on Friday, and then 3, 4, 5, and 6 play Saturday, and then you have to turn around and play on Sunday. That's why we talk about being first or second. If you finish first or second, you play Friday, Sunday. If you're third or fourth, you play Saturday, Sunday. But yeah, sleeping in your own bed. It helps a little bit. But at the end of the day, we're all on the same boat. We all have the same circumstances, and there's no excuses. Once you get a playoff, you should be fit enough to play a back-to-back because we're used to it. The league runs like that. So,
right. Well, you asked me to keep this closer to 30 minutes. We've gone overtime a little bit.
You're good.
Guerrero Pino, thank you so much for joining me today. I really do appreciate you fitting me into your schedule this afternoon. Stay safe and stay warm out there.
No, thank you. Thank you for taking the time. Thank you for doing this for the league. We really appreciate it as players. I think you do a great job for the league, and we really appreciate your time as well. So my pleasure. I'm sorry I couldn't stay a little longer. Day's gonna be a little bit busy today, but again, looking forward to Friday. Say hi to all the fans of San Diego as well. I know I'm not there, but I appreciate all the love that they showed throughout the years. I know Mitchell's mom say hi over here on the chat. So hi to the Cardenas family as well. So again, thank you for doing this, Greg, and we really appreciate it as players.
All right, my friend. Thanks again, and have yourself a great day.
You as well. Thank you.
Yeah, Guerrero Pino, thank you so much for joining me today. Thank you, everybody, for watching. You guys really appreciate you guys sticking in with me and Guerrero today. And we'll see you again early next week. Thanks for watching very much.